just open it up. Anybody? Questions?
Scott, you've got a new featherweight champion in your promotion. Just break down her performance and what you thought over Julia Budd.
I mean, it was electric in there, and I think that Cyborg came in, and she looked super explosive, looked really good. Julia looked great too, and as the rounds went on, I think that Cyborg started dominating the fight, and still her will on Julia. So that's the way I saw it. But that first round, anything could happen, man. Something could have got caught, and we not could have finished. But it was a great fight. It was really intense in there, and proud of both those ladies. Julia Budd, great fighter. She is somebody that's had the belt for a long time and deserves to have the respect that that she could. And I think now everybody can see why she's garnered so much respect among her peers and the fight fans.
As a promoter, obviously Julia was your homegrown star that you guys built up, but Chris Cyborg's the big signee that brings so much attention. Moving forward, how do you balance those two and promoting them with their next matchups?
I mean, this is, in this business you have to win. And I know Julia is just, she's going to want to fight again right away. And, let's see what happens down the line. I mean, if you get a couple wins on her belt and Cyborg gets fights, and they might see each other down the road later if they want it. That's something that right now, the night of the fight, it's really, we can't determine what's going to happen between those two in the future.
Cyborg mentioned the Grand Prix. How do you feel about that idea now that, the fight's over?
Oh, when you say Grand Prix, you mean she'd
like
like to be
she
in a
wanted,
Grand Prix?
yeah, she wanted a featherweight one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we have 8 girls that are solid. But I'll tell you what, after that performance, she's going to be a tough fight for anybody in that weight class. So, they better bring it, because she's a beast. She's dangerous and explosive. And she looked great. I mean, she looked like she didn't miss a beat, in my opinion. So to me, that's why I call her the greatest fighter of all time in the female division, because I think you guys saw with your own eyes today.
Scott, she seemed to admit tonight that the biggest thing she learnt about herself in this performance was patience, if you can talk about that. Because you're talking about she had a game plan, a strategy, she wasn't berserker. And obviously, she's a great draw for you and your organisation. So her at the peak of her powers is presumably a great thing.
Yeah, and I think what she's talking about is, when she got caught in the fight, when she gets caught, she has almost like an immediate reaction to come right back, And I think she took her time, and she waited for some of those barrages that came on her, and was very patient, a lot more patient than I've seen her in the past. So, she's growing, continue to grow, continue to learn, and become a better martial arts fighter.
Hey Scott, can you comment on her longevity, the fact that she won her first title in 2009, and here she is almost 11 years later, and she's still winning fights, and as you say, getting better. And that's not rare for somebody at the highest level to stay there for 10 plus years.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a testament to her will and also her work ethic. She's always in shape. She's always training. She's always, working on getting better as a fighter. And that's my view on Chris Cyborg, and my interpretation of my experience with her is that she's always trying to get better, always trying to learn, and I think that's why the longevity has been good to her.
You even think, like, when you look at Fedor, even as an example, he was dominant that the first decade of this century, and then he kind of faded off as it turned into the new one. She still looks like she's as good as she was in 2009.
Yes, it's rare that you see that explosiveness that you saw tonight. Still, 10 years later, from an athlete, and you got to give it to her, because, like I said, that's just hard work, determination, and her will of making it happen. And I think that we signed her because I felt she could still do it. She felt she could still do it, and she proved it tonight. She could still do it.
Scott, who are some of the fighters that impressed you the most tonight? There was a lot of amazing fights.
Yeah, I mean, Caldwell surprised me, right? I mean, let's be honest. We thought that might work out the other way, but in a fight, anything could happen. I think that's one of the fights that I thought maybe could have a different outcome. But he went and did his thing. he wants to fight the $1 million, you know, at the end of the year. The only thing I didn't like is that backflip off of the cage. I think I've seen that.
Yeah, right.
I told my guys, please don't. Let's just stop that. Right? We don't need to do this anymore.
How about in the prelims? Anyone in the prelims that stand out for you?
I mean, Pico, come on.
Yeah.
Pico's back. I mean, he looked great. He had a great knockout, and I thought he was again another fighter that had a lot of patience in there, and he wasn't just rushing in trying to finish. I mean, he looked like he took a step forward in the development of an athlete as a martial arts fighter.
We got Emily King that opened up the main card, and she upset Ava Knight as well. And really, to tell you the truth, we got Ava, we've got Emily, we've got Carrie. I mean, could we see a strawweight division here in Bellator?
I mean, right now we're going to focus on the divisions that we have, but it doesn't mean that we will rule it out in the future. But for right now, you know, we have the 125-pound weight class with McFarland, and we have Cyborg at 145, and all the girls that, you know, will fight her. But we love super fights, you know. Ava Knight had some things to prove tonight, and you know, she fought a girl that had some great ground skill and beat her. So, you know, back to the drawing board. I know she'll bounce back and, you know, train hard. And this is not an easy sport, as you guys all know. It's a very difficult sport. And so, you know, we wish her luck in you know, in training, and maybe 3-4 months down the line we can have her come back.
Scott, we asked you a month ago.
Yeah, I think you look great.
Mm.
And I think that Pico showed me that you know, you have to be patient in there, and you have to work for it. You have to work certain things, and what I saw was a patient fighter that wasn't just looking for the one punch knockout. Even though that's, you know, he knocked him out at the end, but proud of him. I mean, really, this is the thing as a promoter, and I've always said this to our athletes. I said, look, you got to continue to get better in something that you're weak in. If you're a grappler, don't just grapple. You know, go out there and work on your stand-up. Take some chances, because this is MMA. Someday you'll meet another grappler that can grapple like you, and then it's going to be the stand-up that's going to make the difference, or the wrestling. And it's their job to continue to grow. And I saw Aaron grow and lift today. You know.
How do you book him now? Because it'll be tempting again, because you just knock a guy out with one punch, so then put him up against some of the top 45ers. But do you want to do that yet?
I mean, I think that we should probably let him rest, but my goal is to have him back soon, and maybe have another 2 or 3 fights before the end of the year, and then maybe we could, you know, turn him loose at that point and fight some of the bigger guys.
After this year, so maybe just kind of keep it like a rebuilding year.
Yeah, because he's got to prove that he can continue rebuilding and growing. Because, you know, if you're the same fighter you were a year ago, you're gonna have a hard time. You gotta grow. So I saw some growth today, but let's see what it looks like at the end of the year.
Talking of growth.
Would you comment on AJ Hagazar and his performance tonight?
Mhm.
Hagazar?
I mean, you know, it was a great win for him, and you know, he was definitely talking about it to me at the end of the night in the back. So he's a great kid. Listen, I love AJ. He's, you know, part of the Stockton tribe now, and they're doing their thing, and he loves to chat it up. He has no shortage of that. So, but I gotta give it to him. I mean, he had to face some adversity in that fight and come back and fight. And really, that's something that you look for too. Is this fighter going to come back? Is this fighter going to, you know, dig deep? Because he had to dig deep. He could have just laid there and you know, been done. But, you know, he wanted it, and I think that he deserved the win. And, you know, we're proud of him, and on to the next one.
Scott, Gina Carano was here tonight.
No, she wasn't here, but she was watching tonight.
Tweeting.
Yeah, she was watching tonight.
There's no chance that maybe one day Gina Carano fights for Bellator.
Listen, Gina Carano she's done some great things for the female sport of MMA and even kickboxing, and I think she's doing just fine right now.
Certainly.
Hanging out with Baby Yoda, doing her Star Wars, you know, films. But hey, I'm proud of her. She's a family friend, and we've been friends a long time, and you know, continued success. But listen, if she called me up and said I want to do it, I wouldn't say no. But she's busy.
Scott, the forum was buzzing tonight, and it seemed like a mixed crowd. Do you feel like they'll meet again sometime in the future, Cyborg and Bud?
I mean, that really depends on, you know, what happens in the next year, you know, and I think Julia probably, I haven't talked to Julia, but I'm just assuming, knowing fighters, she's going to want to come back and start fighting and getting busy. And if she gets on a tear and Cyborg keeps winning, then maybe we'll get it on again. But in this sport, you never know.
Scott, what do you think of Sergio Pettis' performance today, and where do you think he goes from here?
I think he looked great, and I think he's, he's right in that mix because with Horiguchi, being out and DC being in the tournament, we're going to probably host a 135-pound championship belt at some point, but we're going to wait to see how these guys perform over the next 2, 3, 4 months, maybe 6 months, because we will be doing 30 fights this year in 2020, so we'll have lots of opportunity for these guys to get some more fights on the belt, and then we'll probably host a 35-pound championship fight.
Scott, now that Cyborg is champion, is there a possibility, well, plus the fact that ESPN was broadcasting the event tonight, possibility for a Bellator Brazil?
There's definitely dialogue about that. We just had our first event on the ESPN platform down there in Brazil, as well as Televisa throughout different parts of Latin America. But there hasn't been any talk about exactly when. But it is inevitable at some point. We will go to Latin America, and we will continue to grow in Asia. Is what the future holds for Bellator in 2020 and beyond.
Any word on how the broadcast did and all that in Brazil and Latin America?
No.
We asked you a month ago in Hawaii, we kind of harangued you actually. In fact, we rinsed you to see what the next tournament was going to be. It's been very successful over the last couple of years. The tournament fights have been extraordinary, and there are so many more great ones to come in this featherweight tournament. Have you settled on the women's flyweight division yet, or am I pushing?
No, that's there's nothing settled. Those are things that at the top of my mind. I think we have a great female 125-pound weight class, and I think Lima's been a great champion, and I think she's gonna continue to do well in this division. But that was something that we're considering. But the tournament's not probably going to be held until September.
Okay.
So I think in the summertime we'll have a big fight. We'll have a pairing, a drawing that we did last time, and then we'll pick the brackets and we'll go to work. Whether it's 125 female division or maybe another men's division, we're just haven't got that point.
And the very last one from me, I
Go ahead.
apologize. My very last one. Michael Venom Page is potentially one of your biggest stars across the entire roster. A lot of people, myself included, would like to see him fight Lawrence Larkin next. Are you working on that?
We've definitely had dialogue about him fighting Lorenz Larkin, but it's also a fight that MVP wants to fight.
Lima.
Not Lima. Yeah, he wants to fight Lima as well. But MVP, we talked about him actually going up in weight as well.
Oh, really? To fight Gegard or Lovato?
Yeah, he said he's down for anybody. So we'll see, and we'll talk to both of them. But Gegard's here tonight. We signed a brand new contract with Gegard, so he'll be a happy camper, and then we have many more fights for him down the road. But MVP is, he's definitely a big star. He's got that X factor. He's got that swagger. And I think that one of the beauties about this relationship with Paramount, CBS, Viacom, is that there'll be more entertainment opportunities for a guy like MVP. And I went to a production set, big CBS show, and we're sitting there talking, and the guy was saying to me, "Well, we want to use some of your fighters and put them in some of our TV series." And I said, "I'm sure they would love it." And he said to me, "How about MVP?" And I said, I didn't even know he knew who he was.
Off the bat, yeah?
Off the bat.
Okay.
He says, "We'd love to have MVP on the show." MVP doesn't even know it. He's probably going to hear from you guys first, because I haven't had the chance to talk to him. But, when I think about him, I think about Chandler, I think about Benson Henderson, I think even Josh Thompson, they have that, ability to cross over. And I think that we'd like to offer these guys, some more outlets in between their fights to have some fun and go work in the entertainment business.
Any word on when Liz is going to make her debut?
I believe it'll happen before April. Yeah.
How did you arrive on the booking of Bader and Nemkov?
Well, Nemkov's been on a tear, right? When he beat Phil Davis, we said, okay, this guy's the real deal, and that's a fight that is going to happen in San Jose on May 9th. And we'll add a bunch of fights to that card. It's going to be an amazing fight card from top to bottom. But Bader wanted to come down and defend his 205-pound belt. Nemkov to me was the right opponent, and we're expecting a great fight.
Any big plan for Cyborg, Scott, moving forward? Is it boxing? Could it be
Yeah, I mean, that's really up to her, you know. I'm sure you guys asked her what did she want to do. Did she say anything?
She always says whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, whatever they want
Okay.
me to do, I'll do. That's pretty much her stuff.
Yeah, listen, it's going to be up to her, but if she wants to go box next, we'll support her, and we'll get behind it. But right now, I'm sure she wants to take a rest because that was a brutal fight. I'm sure she had to dig really deep, you know, going into that late second and late third round. So we'll see what happens. But when she's ready, we'll put her back in there, whether it's boxing or mixed martial arts.
Scott, one half of your featherweight Grand Prix semifinals set up. What are your thoughts on Darren Caldwell and AJ McKee?
Wow, it's going to be a great fight, you know, and you know, I think that this tournament is shaping up nicely, and we're looking forward to the next round. And I think the next round will March. We'll have Pitbull fighting, and then we'll have the semifinals in June, and then the finals in September. So that's kind of the schedule of the tournament. And again, you know, we'll give $1 million to the winner, and that'll be the prize money. So a lot's on the line. These guys are going to be training hard and getting ready, and you know, it's going to be a lot of pride and a lot of money on the line.
One thing that stood out about this card, you had some of the bigger names kind of sprinkled throughout the prelims and the main card. Is that going to be the plan moving forward, to kind of spread around some of the more known names?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much room on the top of the card, and so we just, you know, went according to what we thought would be the best, you know, television fights. And with Pico, we really kept him on the undercard because we didn't want to put that added pressure on him, you know. So we said, hey, let him, you know, just, you know, ride on the undercard and see how he does, and not have that pressure of being a main event fighter on television. You know, we did film it, and it was streamed, and it was out there, but you know, really the spotlight really was with Bud and Cyborg on this fight.
And also, any plans moving forward for Curtis Melinder?
That's something I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to my guys and get back to you on that one.
Last one for me. So I know this just minutes removed from that title fight, but when you walked in the building today, did you have an idea of who you wanted to be the next title challenger for the featherweight belt?
Well, we have I want to say a couple girls that we feel that that can do it, and we'd have to talk to Audie and Cyborg to make sure. So, you know, if she wants to fight right away, let's say she wants to fight in the summertime or in April or May, then you know, we'll announce it. But we have a couple girls in my mind that, you know, they can definitely step up and fight.
Where is Arlene Blanco in that mix then?
Arlene Blanco is, I didn't want to say it, but she's #1 on that list. So I think she's got a record of 13-7, has a lot of experience. She just, she just beat Amanda Davis. So, you know, if she wants to do it, we'll get it on. Actually, when I was walking in here, Rich told me that, you know, she's already blowing her up or blowing Rich up, saying, I want to fight Cyborg next. But that doesn't mean Cyborg will take it or is put together by any means. It's just one of the girls that wants to step up and take it.
Scott, you mentioned the expansion into Asia continuing to grow. Is there a possibility for another crossover, this time with One or with Brave?
Yeah, we haven't talked to either one of them, but you know, with Saki Bar, there's a certain sense of comfort working together because we worked together for so long. I told the story already, but you know, when we were just starting Strikeforce, he was really supportive and helpful. And so I always said one day when I can reciprocate, I will, and we have, and we're trying to help boost Japanese MMA and get it, you know, get it going. And I think that the fights that we did in Japan for Bellator, and then the Ryzen show itself, where Bellator fought Ryzen, I think that it was a great shot in the arm for Japan MMA, and you know, I think we sold 16-something thousand tickets. Probably had 17,000 in the building. I think he sold for his show 24,000 tickets sold out. I couldn't even buy seats for some guests that wanted to go. Seriously, he said, I have nothing left, like nothing left. So, you know, to have 40,000 tickets sold in 2 days on New Year's Eve, that you gotta love Japan, man. That's amazing.
Scott, any chance Sergio Pettis takes part in the vacant bantamweight title fight?
Absolutely. Yeah, we were just saying that earlier. Is that you know, when I think about that division, I think about Patrick Mix, you know, being in the mix, and I think about, you know, Pettis. But there's you know, 2 or 3 people. Like if Caldwell would have lost tonight, I would have said, hey, maybe you go back to 35, we'll put you back in that mix. So, you know, we're going to have to go shuffle the deck on Monday and see what we're going to do with that. But we will have a title fight before the end of the year.